Hello guys and welcome to my channel. So in this episode we are going to talk about bike setup. So it's really hard to improve enduro skills and push your skills to the next level if the bike is not correct setup for you. So it's like fighting with the bike and that is not needed. So let's go. It's really hard to keep the balance right, so standing and sitting, if the handlebar position is not right. So the starting point for the setup of the handlebar is going to be to line up the angle of the forks with the handlebar, so you have one straight line here. Also it depends if the rider is higher than the others or smaller. So also you can change how the bike behaves. If the handlebar is too much up, the bike is going to be really easy to turn, but it's going to lose some also stability. So for more stability we need to pull the handlebar to the back, but in the forest, in extreme stuff, it's not the best to have the maximum stability and to lose the handling over the bike. So the starting point for the lineup of the handlebar with the forks, so the neutral position is like this. So if we roll the handlebars more to up, to the front, we are going to be more on the front, so that means you lose some like stability on faster stuff, but the bike starts to behave like it's shorter in the front, so it's more easy to turn it, which is really nice in extreme stuff. Also keep in mind, don't do it too much, because it's important to have some stability over the bike for the faster stuff also. So if we pull the handlebar to the back, so we start to have like forks in the handlebar in this position. So that means on like faster stuff you get really nice stability, but the problem then becomes in like zigzags, extreme stuff. So the bike gets to feel really heavy on the handlebar and it's not really easy to turn it. So the starting position and the position what is the best for the most guys, so it's a neutral position. So that's the position where the forks and the handlebars are lined up. So too much back is not the best, too much on the front is also not the best. So start in the middle on the neutral position, and then after you can play with this. So because this channel is the most like training for the enduro and the extreme enduro, so for the most guys on my channel the handlebar is going to be a little bit on the front, maybe on for some faster guys the handlebar is going to be more to the back. Also it depends if the rider is really high, smaller guy and riding steel, but for most guys the neutral position is the best. So yeah, so the best way to make the correct lever position is to sit on the bike, yeah, in the center, riding style. So if the lever is too much up, that is going to make the elbows really low and it's not really easy to ride like that. So we need to find something what is really natural for you and the most guys. So something like this. So you can put elbows up to make that you have really nice stability over the handlebar, which is really important. So like that. Also you have really nice contact with the hand on the handlebar, which is really important to don't get arm pump really easy. Also, if the lever is too much down, you need to hold the handlebar too much with the hand, so like that. So it's always twisting the hand, fighting with the bike, fighting with the handlebar, and that is not going to make the fun ride after like 3-4 hours of riding full day. So the position of the handlebars needs to be, when you sit on the bike, having elbows up and having the maximum contact with the hand on the handlebar grip. So you can relax your body on the handlebar without holding handlebar really tight with your hand. That is important. Also make sure the levers are not too much tight, so if the crash happens it can bend up, down. If it's tight, then it's going to break and that costs money. So make handlebar and lever position slightly down, and that is the best neutral position for almost every rider. So it's really important to make the bike work for you and not fighting with the bike, and that's also a case with the suspension. So on the top of the forks we have like 2, 3, 4 lines. It depends on the bike and the forks also. As you can see, my bike is now on the second line, and that is really important for me on this KTM. So the bike is behaving more easy to turn, and also so in that way the bike is really lower in the front, and that is also helping to get some grip on the front end. But the problem is, if the fork is too much up in the triple clamps, you lose some stability in riding. So if you want to make the bike more easy to turn, more aggressive, I think to say, in the corners, pull the fork up. If you want more stable bike, pull the fork down. So it's really hard to explain with you, but also it depends which tires you use, because every tire is really different with the height. So you have like 90-90 and you have like 90-100, and that's also changing how the bike behaves. Like you did same with the triple clamps and the forks. So if you put bigger tires, the front is going to be really higher and you get more grip on the back, while you lose some grip on the front, and also bike starts to behave different. So make sure you always use almost same tires, and always check the fork height if you change the tires. Also, I have to say something really important. So some smaller guys are lowering the bike in the triple clamps, also on the shock on the rear spring, and that's a really big mistake, because then the bike is losing some stability, balance and more. So if you are really short lower rider, I suggest you to get like lowering kit. It's best choice, maybe expensive, but that's going to make the bike really behave really nice. So lowering the bike on the springs in the triple clamps, it's not the case, and please guys, don't do that. So if you look for more stability, put the fork lower in the triple clamps. If you look for more like turning the bike, more easy to turn, pull the fork up. Let's go. Also, it's really important to have like rear shock working for you. So if the rear shock, the SAG is not correct, you are also going to fight with the bike. So lower like SAG, it's really good for extreme stuff, extreme riding, but the higher SAG, it's really better for like faster stuff, jumps and that, and also when it's muddy. So I'm going to explain you how to check the SAG. So you're going to need some tools like this and one marker. So the marker is really important. So first, when you check the standing SAG and then sitting SAG, you know where the point was. So make mark on the rear fender. So this is going to be the starting point in measurement. So now I have about 63, and that it means this now is the static SAG. So now what I need to do is to sit on the bike in really neutral position, press it few times and release the shock in the neutral position also, and check again. Also, it's really important to do this in like boots, gear, protection. So everything which you are riding, you need to have it to get the correct SAG. So press the bike few times. Also make sure before doing this the suspension is really working fine. You can see when I press the foot peg, also the front forks is diving inside. That means the front it's also working with the back, and so the suspension it's working really fine, no any problems. So sit on the bike in really neutral position, center. So leave it like that. Now we need to check the sag again. So now we are going to check the rider sag. So on the back, on the marker, I had like 53, which means I have about 10 centimeters of the sag. So 10 centimeters of the sag, it's really okay for me because I do also some faster stuff, some extreme stuff. So also it depends on the bike, so how much sag you want. So something about 9 and 10 centimeters is the best for every rider, I think. Yeah, the problem with the sag, if you have like too big sag, the problem is on uphills the bike is going to be really lower, so it's really good for the grip, you get the maximum grip, but the problem is you are too high. So it's really hard to keep the balance if the bike is too low in the back. So the problem is also if you have too small like sag, it's really good for motocross track, corners, muddy terrain. So also for the uphills that is really good. But the problem is if the sag is small, the spring rate gets really harder. So over the rocks you can feel the rock is like kicking you on the back, so it's really hard to ride in the extreme stuff like that. So bigger sag means you have like less preload on the spring, and yeah, it's working really better over the rocks, so the spring and the shock is really better absorbing the hits. So I think the bigger sag is better for like extreme stuff, and if you want to ride really faster and like motocross tracks, I suggest smaller sag. So you need to find something between which is really working fine for you. So in the descriptions I'm going to leave some options over the sag and setup of the bike. So the different story it's now about the clickers like rebound, compression and that stuff. I need to make one video just about like suspension, because suspension is really complicated stuff. It's really hard to make it working for rocks, faster stuff, jumps, and that it's almost not possible. So that was for this video. I think these like episodes how to improve skills and tips and tricks are going to help a lot of riders. So if this video was helpful for you, please like the video and comment below. I'm going to be really happy to reply to you in the comments. So see you the next time.